Okay, guys, good afternoon. This is Umar. Today's session is about Windows Server. As you can see, this Windows Server on my computer laptop machine is installed in Oracle Virtual Machine, VM VirtualBox. I'm pretty sure last 3 weeks we have done some effort to install this server on the machine. So if any one of you are not able to install Windows Server 64-bit version, Windows Server 2019 in their machines, then please, we have a short time. We cannot proceed with the assessment task 2 without completing installations of Windows Server on your VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox machine. On the upper left-hand side, you can clearly see this Windows Server 2019 is up and running on Oracle VM VirtualBox. So this is important. This is very important, guys. Okay, so let's quickly go to today's session is all about the introduction of the Windows Server, which is typically Windows Server management services. So this session is totally focused on Windows Server management services. So today I will take you through the major steps required to configure Active Directory domain systems, to configure your Internet Information System, which is IIS window, which is Microsoft domain web hosting server. I take you through the file management system. I take you through DNS settings. I take you through DHCP settings. I take you through the printer installation in the Windows Server. And the important thing I discuss with you is group security policy, which is very important. Group security policy is very important. Group policies, here we define the group policies, which is an important security element in Microsoft Windows Server 2019. This Windows Server 2019 is similar to 2016. My feeling is that this Server 2019 is similar to 2012, Windows Server 2012 release 2. There is no much difference, but the only good thing is in that system, this is much more stable and much more robust system. The graphical user interface is much better. So let's start with this Windows Server, which we have here. I'm going to insert Alt Control Delete from the input. So on the VirtualBox menu option, I have keyboard, and here I can insert Alt Control and Delete. I can use my right side Alt Control Delete on my keyboard and it will function the same. I'm a bit lazy, so I am using the input. This video is recorded. We are recording this video. This video will be available after today, tomorrow, when we finish the session. So I keep on pausing whenever I need to pause to make the size small. So I'm going to punch in my password. So my password is this. So as you can see, I am Australia administrator. So I was working before. So let me quickly. I have a quick question to you guys. Before we start, do you guys see what's going on? Okay, do you guys see what is going on my machine? Okay, anyone? We have 16 participants. Anyone can talk. Okay, only Dipesh said he can, okay. Okay, 3 people said they can hear me, okay. That's very nice. This is a recorded session, guys, so that's okay if you don't get it. So this is your Windows Server. So once you put your password in, this is on the lower right hand side, you see my network is up and running. As you can see, my domain ilmaustralia.com.au. This is the domain which This is a forest I have set it up. If you do not know about the forest, last week we did some activities in your training room and in online sessions, and that recorded session from someone else, they clearly explain you what is a forest. So I'm not going to get into those details again, but this is a forest. As you can literally see, this is a Windows server. I installed that server 18 days ago. It's a fresh server. My network is working, and my server, my forest is ilmaustralia.com.au. This is my domain controller, domain control, domain name. Speaker is working, battery is charging. So you must see your network on. Okay, this is very important. And then in the start, what we do is, if you don't see your management services up, you can go into start. Start is on the lower down corner. It is slow because I'm recording and because this Windows server is running in the virtual machine, in VirtualBox. So this is a slow one. So it will take 10-15 seconds to show up. So as you can see, this Windows Server 2019 is similar to any normal ordinary window, Windows 10, Windows 7, or Windows XP. So this is my Windows Server Manager. These are other options as well. Control panel, just like Windows, remote desktop, file explorer. But this is the thing which I'm looking for, which is Windows Server Manager. So I'm going to click it. So it will take a while that my Windows Server Manager will boot up. Basically, as you can see, it's literally starting Server Manager. So as it is showing up, okay, here you go. So this is the first screen. This is the first thing you see. This is the first thing, guys, you see here. Okay, so this is the first thing you see here. Once you install your Windows Server 2019 and you go into your Windows Server, how we can do that, let me show one more time to you. Let me close this. Okay, so you go to Windows, this Windows sign on the left down side, and you start this Windows Server. So this is your Windows Server. You just start Windows Server. Okay, so once you start the Windows Server, it will pop up in a short time. I'm recording the video, and this Windows Server is running in Oracle VM VirtualBox. It is going to be slow. So the first thing what you will do is you will not see all these things here. So the first thing first, what you need to do is you need to add roles and features. Again, once you first boot this server, once you first start this server manager dashboard, you will not see these things: ADDS, DHCP, DNS, file services, IaaS, print services. You will not see any of these. We have to add roles and features to see this on the left-hand side. This is very important, guys. This is very important. Okay. Okay, let's start with add roles and features. Today, I'm just taking you through a quick session of how you can configure this local server. Okay, let's quickly see the local server. What is the local server? So when you start, you will only see these three options: dashboard, local server, and all servers. You will not see anything else. Okay, guys. So once you install Windows Server and you initiate your server manager, you will only see dashboard, you will only see local server, you will only see all servers. You will not see anything else. So I said I click the local server. Now there are some important information. There are very important information we should be knowing. As you can see, it is slowly coming up. Why it is slowly coming up? Because I'm recording the video, because this Windows Server 2019 is running on Oracle VM VirtualBox. So that's why it is slow. Okay, the first thing what you see is what is the computer name. If I want to change the computer name, I just need to click it. The detail, the video which I shared with you, 1 hour 15 minutes video, that video has detailed demonstration. So I will be avoiding details. So if you click this one, you will see it. So once you install your domain, which we shortly, I will explain you how you can do that, which takes time. I already set up everything to save time. The video demonstration, which I shared with you last week online activity, that has detailed demonstration. So I'm just keep taking you through. So this is the domain name, which is part of my forest. What is a forest? What is a domain? You already are familiar with. If you are not, please go to your training room activity. I've shared 3 videos in a single day. So please go through those videos to understand what is a forest, how the domains are, what is a child domain, what is a parent domain. So all the theoretical section we already covered in week 3. This is week 4. So what you can see, computer name. If you want to change the computer name, you can change it. This is a very strange name. I don't know this number. So you want to change it, and you want to put it like you want. Some people like to name their server based on the fish species on fish species. Some people would like to have sea names, for example, Pacific, for example, Indian Ocean. Some people like to name their servers on the name of rivers, Texas River, any Volga, for example, it's European rivers. Any naming convention you want to follow, just follow the naming convention. So my Windows Defender firewall is on. You can turn it off by just clicking and taking the option. My remote management is enabled. You can disable. As you can see, it's blue when you put your pointer on it. So it changed the color. It changed, it become underlined, so you can click it. This is very important. This is where you should change your IP address. Now, in your house, in your home, you have a home router. That router is a wireless router which is plugged into your directly telephone line. That simple home router is your gateway, and that router has this also has a small DHCP services installed. But you want your server to have fixed IP. So what you do is just click this link. Let me click this one. I am going to click the Ethernet. So I click that one. It will take a while to show up. As you can see, a circle show up. It is doing something. It will take a while to show up, but patiently, let's see what show up. So in the meantime, just go, if you are just following me, just go through your system, just go through this one. I'm just showing you how you can fix your IP address of your server machine. Most of time, your server is your DHCP controller. Or if you have a DHCP separate DHCP server controller, you can just mention their IP address is there. If you do not know what is IP address, just Google it, go to YouTube, understand what is IP address. Because this course is beyond, this course requisite is that you know what is IP address. But if you don't know, let me know. Put a message in the chat box you don't know. Okay, so I click the Ethernet, and this is how the Ethernet is. So what I'm gonna do is I right click, and I'm going to check the properties. So I right click on it and change, I'm going to see the properties. So as you can see, these are the networking Ethernet card properties. So I'm using IPv6 and IPv4. What is IPv6 and what is IPv4? If you don't know, just text me in the chat box and I will speak with you after this session. So I'm just going to click TCP IPv4. And when I click it, you can see the properties are highlighted. So I just click the properties, and here I'm forcing this machine to have a static IP address. So IP address 192.168.1.6. This is the subnet mask because this is simple class C network. This is my default gateway. This default gateway is the default gateway of my home router. This is my preferred DNS server, 127.0.0.1. This is the local machine IP address. This is the reserved IP address of your local computer machine. You can always put 192.168.1.6. This is same as this. So if you force it to 192.168.1.6, this DNS server, it will automatically next time will show you 127.0.0.1. Why? Because this is the dedicated local machine IP address. So this is reserved. This IP address is reserved for any local machine, any machine which itself. Okay, so as you can see that I have set it up, this IP address to these numbers. What you can do is go to the video, and there they have demonstrated you that how you can make your IP statics. First, you need to find out the IP address of your machine and these information, make it static, come back here, make it static, and put in the information here. That's it. Let me cross that because I already set up for myself, and I say cancel because I don't want any trouble. I cancel it down. So I'm back here. So I have this IP fixed for me, and my internet is working beautifully, as you can see. So this is showing that my Ethernet is working, my sound card is working, and everything seems good. Okay, let me annotation, and my annotation is this one. Okay, the other information which are very important information. So here what I have done is I have changed the date of my time server, and if you click it, it will take you to date and time. This is very important information. This is very important information that you must change your server date and time. Okay, so once you are done with this, it will take you a while. So what if you scroll down? So you will see that there are some network services. There's some services running on this machine. So as you can see, this is the server. This is this machine. The server name is Windows C5 ETE. This is by default. I didn't do it, but I didn't bother changing it, but you can do it. So there are different services running on the server. If you scroll down, there are DHCP client is running. Yes, there are many more services running. Microsoft FTP services, Print Scooper, and other services running. Okay, important thing again. Okay, let's go to tools. Actually, let's go to dashboard. Now I am going to share with you how you will be configuring all these services. Active Directory domain systems, dynamic host controller protocol, DNS server, DHCP server, file storage services, print services, internet information services, which your web server, local host events. These are all server events and this server events. Anything which is happening here, when you shut down machine and you turn it on, it log everything down. So let's go and add roles and features. So if you click add roles and features, you will see a small transcript script which for you to read. So this is a wizard which help you to install rules and services and this and that. I just skip it and I just move it on and I say next. This is the one thing you must check. Configure a single server by adding roles, services, responsibilities. Okay. You can also do a remote desktop service installation, but we're not doing remote. We are configuring this server. So that's why I selected this server. So let's go next. So this is the server machine. Select a server from the host. Let me turn on the annotations. Okay, annotation, mouse pointer. Okay. So this is the option I have selected. So I have selected the option. So this is the option I have selected. And I have selected this. So this is the option I have selected. Let me change the color to red. Let me erase it. Let me draw this one more time. So this is the option I have selected. Let me make it more bold. Let me again remove it. Let me draw one more time for you. So this is the option I have selected. I think this is better. So select a server from the pool. And this is my server. This is I have selected. And then I said next. Okay, so I need to go to Spotlight. Yep. I can say next. So when I say next, it start doing something. Okay, I need to delete this. Okay, fair enough. Okay, here, these are your services. So here are your services. So first thing first. So I have just check this one, Active Directory Domain Services. It's already installed, but you will be tick marking it. And you don't need Federation Services, Lightweight, don't need it. The next thing we need is DHCP server. It's already installed, but you need to check it. Because if you're doing first time, then you need to install, check this one, DNS server. It's already installed, but check this one. We don't need server. File storage, let's click this one and you will see that there are some options. So I have already checked both. Similarly, print and document services, I have already selected this one. Let's check. So print server is already installed. Now, what other thing I have installed is I have installed web server, internet information system, internet information server, which is Windows web browser, web server. These are already installed, but you need to check it. And once you have selected all the appropriate services which you want to install, which you want to configure, say next. So you just do next. So it will ask you blah, 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 and ask you some things, group policy management and everything is already installed, but it will ask you. So, but we'll say this, it's already done. Actually, we don't have anything further to install, but you will see that it will ask you next and then ask you next. For example, let's say data center bridging. For example, containers. Let's ask some features, container features. It's just for the sake of, you don't need to install it. You say next. So it says containers and then it's ready to install. Here, you will see all these services which are needed to install. As I have already installed these services, and for the just sake of showing you, I have selected a container. But for your case, once you are configuring for the first time, this is going to be list of services. And then you say install and it start installing. will take 15-20 minutes depending on your computer specifications, but once you are done, your system will reboot. If it does not reboot it, sometimes you see some error messages and some warning messages. Just go through those warning messages. Just try to reinstall, reconfigure it. Do it one more time for that services, one more time. Okay, if it is not properly installed, it will ask you. Okay, since I have already installed it, what I do is I just cancel this one so that, and here we will be. So once this is installed, all the add roles and features of required of as per your requirement, which we just checked, install, this is what you will see. You will see these roles and server groups. They will be installed here. And at the same time, on your left hand side, you will see, in addition to dashboard, local server, all servers, you will see Active Directory domain system configured. Add roles and features have been added, and roles and features, DHCP done, DNS done, file servers and storage done. Internet information server is installed, print service is installed. So all these services are installed. So now let me take you through, so this is important, guys. Well, if you see something bad, some installation not going some right, some installation go bad, this is where you will see notifications. If you click the notifications, it will tell you details what went wrong. And then you can go to your roles and features and re-add them and check, maybe they have not been installed properly, and they will be available to reconfigure, reinstall roles and features. This is important. So this first step is important, that you have configured this server with the roles and features. So here, this is important. So I quickly take you through the next step. This video is recorded. I will upload this video after today's session, probably based on my internet connection. This video will be available for tomorrow for you to have a look at it. But today's session is just a demonstration how we can configure our local server to our required services. And those required services are Active Directory. Any of you who has just joined, so we have just configured our Active Directory domain systems. We have configured, actually we have installed, we haven't actually configured them. We should do it shortly together. But we have installed ADDS, DHCP, DNS, file and system storage. We have installed our web server, and we have installed our print services. For the sake of saving time, I have configured these services, but I will be taking you through how to do them. So go into your tools. In the tools, you will see Active Directory Administration Center. This is what anyone who is working as a network administrator, or anyone who is working as a system, a desktop support person, anyone who's working as a desktop support job, or will be asking or will be looking for a desktop support job, Active Directory domain, this is what we do. Let me quickly annotate so that you can see what is going on. Annotate. There is no spotting. Okay. Unfortunately, stay. Okay. Oh no, it's not going to. Okay, that's okay. So I'm going to draw. So this is the first thing, and then across it. Okay, guys, Active Directory Administrative Center. This is where a desktop support person play the role. Whenever there's a new employee in the company, you get a request in your ticketing system, and the ticketing system will tell you, this is the employee, this is the employee details. Can you please configure this computer, this person to our network, provide internet services, configure the email address, provide the printing services, provide the storage services, access to some features, some resources, IT resources on the network. This is where the desktop support person sits and help people and set it up. Okay, so let me quickly, okay, let me quickly delete this one because this is done. And we say this. Okay, the second one is Active Directory domain and trust. Then third one is Active Directory modules, Active Directory sites and services. Let me take you one by one. I will not spend much time, but the first thing which I want to show you is, first of all, when you are configured your domain services, Active Directory domain services, ADDS, the first thing you will do is you will go and you will add services, computer management, computer services, Active Directory users and computers. This is where you will be adding your computers and users. When you're configuring first time, this is where you are doing it. And then we have active sites and services. Let me quickly go to the Active Directory users and computers, because this is where we add users and this is where we add computers. Computers and users, these are our resources. We do not want any computer which is uh, not in our network, and we do not want that computer to access our resources. So that is why we add computers who are eligible, who are legit computers on our network. We do not want any other computer which is not legit computer. We do not let any illegit computer on our network. So this is what you see here. When we start adding computers and services, this is what you should. This is a forest which I have created. When you first configure your Active Directory, it will ask you what you want to do. This is what you want to do. The video demonstration is also shared with you last week, so you can go and have a look. But this is what I did when I installed the domain server. I put up a forest, brand new forest, and with that forest, I set it up my domain, which is ilmaustralia.com.au. This is my domain. In that domain, I have 3 offices set up: Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney. You can set up your own. Okay, let's quickly see what we can set up. As you can see here in the type, these are my names and these are my types. So as you can see, we have organizational unit, we have built-in domain, we have container. A container contains some groups. So organizational unit contain or another organizational units, or can contain users, can contain computers. So these are different things. You see boxes here. If you want to add something, just right click. So when you right click, it will ask you new. And here you can add a computer, or you can add a contact, or you can add a group, or you can add a printer, or you can add a user. So these are 5 important things, or you can add a share folder. It's up to you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is most of the time we use it. And of course, this one, 7, organization unit. So the video I shared with you, it has the demonstration of how you actually do it. But let me quickly go through how I have created a user named Umar Imtiaz. Let me show you what are the rights and responsibilities I've set up. So go to the properties. I can disable the account, by the way, if I've been fired from the company or I've been let go. I can reset the password. I can move into a different container, into a different group, or a different organizational unit, OU. OU is organizational unit. But I'm just trying to check the properties. So I'll click the properties. So here in the properties, what you see is in the journal tab. Now there you can see there are many tabs. So one is the journal tab, address tab, account, profile, my phone number, and then remote control. Am I allowed a remote control? Session, dial in, member of. Any user can be secured by assigning it a group policy. A group policy is a set of rules which define the important information like your access, your password, how you can access the resources, the group management policy. Okay, so this is my name, my phone number, address, as you can see, account. So these are my important information. This is my login name, and this login name is belonging to ILM Australia, which is a domain login server, ILM Australia. And this is my domain. So whenever I log in, I will be logging in into this domain. This domain belongs to a forest, but this is my domain. I can set the login hours based on my choice. I can say 9 to 5 only. No one can else log in, but only 9 to 5. And I can unlock the account. If the account is locked, it will be checkbox. If I want to unlock, this is how I do. And these are some properties. Account never expires. I can say that this is a 1-year contract employee, so I can set the end date automatically set to the 1 year so that I don't need to bother about it. This user is a member of, this is a group, this user is a member of ilmaustralia.com.au/users. Automatically, I can add and remove this binding. This user is binding to some group, okay? And this is the binding users. And there are other functions. Because I already set it up for you as a demonstration purposes, I'm just going to cancel it. Similarly, I have created a group, a organization unit, ADLAD. So I just click it and then I right click on the ADLAD, and then I can say what are the properties. So here you can see the properties will show up. So managed by, who is managing this one? So there is no one actually managing, but anyway, this is how it is. So general properties, who is actually, this is ADLAD, because this is an organization unit, and organizational unit can be physical location or could be a unit within the same building. So I haven't set anything. You can set it up or you can just leave it, cancel. Okay, so this is straightforward. If I want to add new computer, this is what I can do. If I want to add a new contact, this is what I do. A contact is someone outside the business. So you can add a contact, you can add a group. A group can be a group of computers, a group can be a group of users, or group of printers. It's up to you. Or organization, a group can be organization units. So organization unit I can add a printer, I can add a user, I can add a share folder. Once you click, it will take you to the respective thing. So this was a quick introduction how you can add computers and users and organization units in your Active Directory domain system. And this is my domain, ILM Australia. This is my forest actually. And I have this domain added. In my forest, I have only one domain. I can have more domains. Everything belongs to this domain. So these filters help me to go into the respective folder. So this is how it is. Okay, so let me cross this Active Directory adding users. Let's go to tool one more time, guys. This is important. Let's go to tools and let's go to Active Directory DHCP. This is what we just did, Active Directory users and computer. Let's see what is Active Directory sites and services. So I just click the Active Directory sites and services. This will give us information about sites which are configured in this local server and services installed respectively. So it's opening up probably. Yeah, here you go. So if I click the filter, you can see these are some important information. So inter-site transport, I can use IP, I can use SMTP. So for time being, this is already configured. For time being, just let me cross this one and let's quickly explain you the next one. So we've done sites and services user, Active Directory domains and trust. Let me click this one, Active Directory domains and trust. So I have here how many domains I have. This is my domain. If I click this one, if I want to add a domain, I can add a domain actually. If I right click, there's no add. Okay, there's another way of adding it. Now here you go. Add, remove columns, but that's okay. Okay, there would be another way of adding a domain. So I can change the forest. A forest, what is a forest? Please go back to week 3 online activities and training room activities to understand what is a forest. So here I have one domain added. Only one domain. There's nothing, there's no subdomains. I can add a subdomain, but in a different way. I can add, remove columns, I can manage, I can assign it to someone else. If I say I can manage, this is how you can manage it. Let's slowly open it up, slowly opening up. So this is how I can manage. So as you can see, this management is taking me to Active Directory users and computers. So these services are linked together. These services are linked together. So here we design, we actually configure, add new users. We can add new organizational units, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. We can add printers if we like to, or we can add users. We can add computers. So this is a computer container. So let me cross this one. Let me cross this Active Directory domains and trusts. And let's go to tools again, tools, upper right-hand corner. And let's see other computer management. This is where you can manage computers. Let's go and do DHCP. So as you can see, this will show you your DHCP server. Now look, what we have done is we have installed this DHCP server on this Windows machine, which is this local machine. So this is the name of the local machine and this is the local computer. If I click this one, so it will tell me that I can actually dynamically assign IPv4 and IPv6. What is IPv4? What is IPv6? Please let me know if you do not know anything. Just make a note, and end of this lecture, end of this quick session, please ask me the question. So here we have not configured our DHCP server yet. The point today is not to let you configure it. It's just to let you know what is happening. So if I right click it, I can add a server, or I can manage authorized servers, or I can view. So this is how I can add a server, or I can manage servers. Okay, we will do it later. But we can do this one. If I click this one, IPv4, and I right click on IPv4, I can literally see scope. Scope is important actually. This scope will exactly tell you that what is your start IP, what is your end IP, how many days, what is the leasing time of the IP, because DHCP server lease IP addresses or it's infinite. If there's a failover, you need to install a failover DHCP server. So this is where you can configure a failover mechanism. So if your primary server go down, it will go to the second DHCP server. Remember, DHCP is a service which automatically assign you an IP address. So whenever your computer boots up, whenever your client computer or network computer boots up, this DHCP server automatically assign you IP address. So you can force IPv4 or you can force IPv6, it's up to you. So this is how you do it. You can define user classes, define vendor classes, reconcile all scopes, just integrate everything together. Or you can check the properties. If I check the properties, this will take me to properties. Okay, general. Update statistics every 10 seconds, 1 second, 1 hour, something. Okay. This is logging information, show boot up, DNS. It's also give you DNS information because DNS server will translate the text address, www.apple.com.a something, and it will provide you IP address. So you can set your DNS server settings here. Then you have filters, then you have failover settings, which other server can be configured as a failover DHCP. This is where we do that. Okay, let me just cross this one. We are not configuring it today. I'm just taking you through a baby step. So today is just an introduction to what is a Windows Server after this configuration. And we are sitting in Server Manager. And Server Manager, you can go by clicking Windows icon on the left down corner and starting Server Manager. And this is the dashboard. On the upper right hand side, you see tools. So this cleanup DNS. What is the DNS settings? So let's go to DNS. I just want to show you what are different options available for you. So this is my computer, which has been done something. So this computer is domain name system. This is my domain. How many domains I have? I have one domain so far, which is ilmaustralia.com.au. So I have forward lookup zones. I have backward reverse lookup zones. I have some trust points. What is a trust point? A trust point is a relationship. How do you trust to your source provider or a destination provider? If you check the week 3 classroom online videos or week 3 online training videos, you can see the definitions of what is a trust point. 2 ways, trust point 3, or you can have a trust point among the forest, or you can have trust within the forest, within the domains. So it depends on you. And then you can define the trust point. There is no trust point defined, which is okay. So as you can see, I have this forward lookup trust already defined. So ILM Australia. So these are some already by default. So this is available to you by default. So you can see IPv6 host A, these DNS service. We are not going to configure DNS server at the moment. I'm just taking you through it because it will be going to be a lot. Another 2 weeks, I take you through how to configure each things separately, one by one. Next week, we will be configuring and setting up our computer systems and users in the Active Directory domain systems, and then we do something else. Okay, let's go to tools one more time. And we already been through introduction of DNS, DHCP, Active Directory users and computers, sites and services, quick run through, Directory domains and trust, Active Directory administration center later at the end. Okay, so Microsoft group policy management. This is group policy management, guys. This is where we set the privileges of a user or users. I just click it and it is showing up slowly because I'm recording and it is on a virtual machine, so it will show up slow. Okay, here you go. So as you can see, this is my forest, ilmaustralia.com.au, and within the forest, if these are the filters. So as you can see, in my forest, I have many other options. I have domains. Let's see how I have this domain. This is a group policy. So if I click it, it will take me to the ILM Australia policies. This is the default domain policy. I have only one domain configured in a forest. Okay. In my forest, which is ilmaustralia.com.au, I have one domain already set it up, which is the same name. I can have further child domains. I can add further domains. So child domains and master domains, and we can always go to the slides which I shared with you, the video which I shared with you last week 3. So as you can see, status, this is the server name, which is running this group policy. And this group policy is a default. And this policy is implemented on ilmaustralia.au, which is a group, which is a domain as well. And we have some delegations. So only administrator and system domain admins and enterprise admin and system admins can go and change this policy. So if I click this default policy, this is the default policy, it is taking me there. So if I click the default policy, this is the default policy. So if I check the settings, what could be a policy? Policy could be a password actually. So what could be the length of the password? When can you access the system? When you can access, when you cannot access, how many pages you can print. These are all default domain policies. You can set it up as a default domain policies. Okay, it is loading up, it's a slow, here you go. So let's see this one, Windows settings. So if I see Windows settings, security settings, as we can see here, there are account policies and password policies. So if you click this one, it is telling me that this server will remember your last 24 passwords. The maximum password age will be 42 days. After 42 days, the password will expire. So if you change your password, you cannot change it in within 24 hours. You have to wait for next 24 hours to rechange your password. So this is the minimum age. And then you have 7 characters long. And then you have password always enabled. So I have disabled storage of password anywhere. Okay, this is I can set it up actually. This is by default policy, but I can set my own group policies. It's a lengthy process. It's all together 1 hour, 1.5 hour session again. Run through this group policy. Guys who just join in and who left, this video will be available. Guys who just join in, we already covered 1 hour, 5 minutes video so far. This video will be uploaded in your Moodle page tomorrow. It will be available maybe next to your training videos. So this is the group policy. This is a quick introduction to group policy. So this group policy is implemented on ILM Australia, and this group policy is applicable to all these things. This group policy is at the root and is at the same level as these policies. Let me highlight it. Let me annotate it. Let me draw something here. This group policy is implemented and is applicable in all these domains, all these on the same level, all these. This is very important. If I want to have a different group policy for Adelaide and Sydney and Melbourne, I need to define my own group policies. I can click on Melbourne and I can say create a group policy in this domain, or I can link an existing policy to this domain, this group, this container. Okay. Or I can create a new organizations unit and assign a group policy accordingly. When you develop an organizations unit, at the same time, you can assign or define a group policy if you do not have one before. Most of the time, the group policies are defined when you are designing your Windows server. So these are the design features. You design the group policies when you are structuring up your domains, you're structuring up your forests, you are structuring up your subdomains. So you structure up forests, domains, subdomains, and you develop policies accordingly. You always have one master policy, and then you can force a child policy to subdomains or a domain or a forest separately. You can have many forests, as many forests you like, as many domains in a forest you like, based on your design configurations. Okay, let me just cross it and let me just take you out from here. Let me just delete this one, annotate and eraser, erase, and then mouse, and then I can delete and then cross. Okay, so far tools, this is important, tools, and we have done group policy. Where is the group policy? Here you go, group policy management. Now let's quickly go to add a printer. Print management. How can we add a print management? Again, as I mentioned you need to go to add locals, roles and features, and there you can add a printer. Print management. Okay, let me click the print management. If I click the print management, this is how the print management is. It is loading, slow, but surely it will. So any of you who just join in, we are going through a quick run through with your Windows Server Manager. We are familiarizing ourselves what are different server management services available to you. We are mainly focusing on Active Directory, DNS server, DHCP server, IIS server, file and storage, and print services, because these are typical services we use in our domain systems, domain controller. Group, to secure our access to the network, we will be using group policies. We should always have a master group policy by default, which is applicable to all these forests and all the domains and subdomains. Why we do that? We do not want no policy. We should always have a policy. Guys, my computer is slow. It's picking up. What I have done is I just click in tools, print management services. So it's loading up. Hopefully it will load. Some of you come and go. I strongly encourage you to join in time and leave in time. But still, I am recording this video. It will be available hopefully by tonight or tomorrow. So it's loading up. Let me see what is happening. Okay, here you go. So this is my not responding print manager. So it's loading up. It's not responding. Hopefully it will show up. Still not responding. It will take it is taking some time, which has multiple reasons because I'm recording this video. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. It's running good. Here you go. It's running. Okay, guys, the very initial thing what you will see is this is what you see. So you will see your print management. If I click this filter, there are three options: custom filters, print servers, and deployed printers. So if I want to add print servers, this is where I can see my print servers. I have one server at the time being. This is my machine. This is the machine I have installed Windows Server. So only one server is available at the moment. Okay. If I want to see how many printers are deployed, this is if I click this one, I can see there is no item to show actually. But this server, I can see this server has printers installed. If I click at the printers, the installed printers will show up. I have recently added a printer. This is my home printer. As you can see, I have added this printer. If I want to add a printer, I can right click, add a printer, and it will take me through. So search printer from the internet, basically network printers, and I say next, and it will start searching the printer. So as you can see, it picked up the printer. The printer IP address is this one, 192.168.1.4. Sometimes we force fixed IP address for printers. My personal idea is that it should be automatically handled through the DHCP server and should be communicated automatically. Why? Because sometimes if we go through a power down system situation, everything should pick up automatically. So if I say next, it will ask me detecting the TCP IP port. So Windows will detect. So it's asking me, so installing a new driver. And then if I say next, 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 and then say install, it will let me install. It's very straightforward, simple one. But I just want to cancel. And once you are done, this is where you will see a printer. So I just printed a page on the printer as well. It is working very fine. So what we have done so far in the tools, we have been through a quick introduction of your Active Directory domain and trust modules for Windows. We haven't touched this one. Active Directory sites and services, Active Directory users and computers. This is where we add users and computers and groups and domains and subdomains. Active group policy management. This is a security feature. This is where we add roles and responsibilities, assign how can the users and computers can access the resources. Domain name system, DNS server, DHCP server, we've been through. Then we discuss the print management services. The last services which I want to discuss with you are your file and storage services. If you go into your tools, you don't see these file storage services. So the only way you can go and check these file services is you just need to click this one. Let me annotate. Just click files and storage services. Okay, files and storage services. So I click this files and storage services. The files and storage services will be selected over here. You will see that on your left side. It's doing something. Let's see how much time it, here you go. So as you can see that there are file storage services running here. Okay. So this is my server. This is my IP address of server. There's some service is running over here. Okay, now volumes. I can have many volumes of hard drives. I can have many disks. So I just click the volumes. It's trying to show up. It's trying to show up. Come on, okay. Not responding, yes, here you go. And then if you click at disks, this is where your virtual drive disk is. So as you can see, it's coming up. It's loading. Here you go. So I have this disk available, which is 25 GB because I have short of disk space. So my hard drive is only 25 GB. And this is VirtualBox hard disk. SATA VirtualBox, it's online, it's available. This storage pool. And then I have share. This is important. Let me go to share. This is where you develop, you create your folders to share with other people. I have just created a home directory. Okay. So if I want to share more, I want to create more directories, I can just right click and I say new share. And I say new share, it's very short space, just 12 GB left. And here you can either use simple message blocks, which is Windows format of sharing the files, and NFS is Unix based. So I can say SMB share. So I can just say next and next. And this is how I can create my disk. It's very straightforward process. Let me cross this one. Yes. And let me cross this one. Okay. So guys, this was a quick run through introduction to your Windows Server, configured Windows Server. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Windows Server Manager want to close. Just will be pausing the recording. And if I want to say something, I will say again. I'm just going to pause the recording. If you have any questions, please ask me the questions.